Showtime is go time.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA. Allstate Insurance in Westchester, PA. Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the Edge of Philly Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. Hey, Chet, the Phils lost the final two games in Miami prior to the All-Star break. They need to come out firing when they open a four-game series against the Padres Friday night. Sixers continue to lose players in free agency, then made a surprising move to me by matching the offer for Paul Reed. We're going to keep him around with all 4 points per game. We have some more Eagles talk this week, too, as we test you on another Eagles all-time list this week. Best defensive players of all time. That should be a lot of fun. And as always, Chet, plenty to talk about on the Philly sports scene.
Yeah, even during the All-Star break, Bill. And Bill, I do want to sneak in some talk later about the All-Star game itself. Just, how it compares to when we used to watch it back in the formative years and what you thought of last night's game, actually. So we will save that for a little later on.
Absolutely, because there's been plenty of chatter about it today. Yeah. Pretty good game. It was. And good contributions by the Phillies. We'll talk about uniforms and introductions seem to have hit the airways today.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we have a great guest making a return visit tonight to Philly Pressbox Radio, longtime voice of the Phillies, Chris Wheeler. He will be joining us shortly.
Yeah, Wheels has become a real good friend of the show. This, in fact, is his 14th visit over the years. Wow. And he always gives us some great baseball insight when he does join us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Ted, let's open with some Sixers talk. Guard Patrick Beverly is in. Center Mo Bamba is in. Paul Reed, as we said, is staying. Shake Milton, George Niang, Jalen McDaniels are gone. Is this team any better or worse at this point in free agency? It looks like a bunch of nothing going on to me.
Yeah, in all honesty, it's about the same right now. It's tough to get excited about either Mo Bamba or Patrick Beverly. Bamba is a 7-footer who, for his career, has averaged 18 minutes a game, 7.5 points a game. Beverly happens to be celebrating his 35th birthday today, so he's not a kid. He is a veteran, but he's just an 8.5 points per game guy for his career. He used to be a very good three-point shooter, but that shooting percentage has gone down the last few years as he's gotten a bit older. So we'll see how he fits in with the Sixers, how much they plan to use him even. The big news, though, as you mentioned, was the Sixers late Sunday matching Utah's contract offer to B-Ball Paul. He's one of my favorite guys. He, as you said, he doesn't score a whole lot because primarily he doesn't get a whole lot of playing time backing up Joel Embiid. But I like this guy. He's always playing with lots of energy, lots of emotion. And I think he has gotten better in his limited minutes. So I'm glad they brought him back, although I don't know why you need 4 centers.
Well, and I was going to say exactly that. If you look at the Sixers roster right now that they have on their website, they have 4 centers listed, and Paul Reed is not one of them. He's listed as a strong forward because I was thinking exactly the same thing. Why did you sign Bamba and then sign Reed? How many centers do you need? Well, they have Reed listed as a strong forward.
So you got to wonder if they're thinking about maybe somehow playing he and Embiid together, at least at times. They never used to do that. It was always, Reed or the other dude who they also brought back as a backup to Joel Embiid. So we'll see if they maybe will try them together, or if Nick Nurse has something else that he's tinkering with, because it's very odd. I didn't think they were going to match the offer, to be quite honest. And then a little before 11 o'clock Sunday night in the final hour, I heard the news that they're bringing back B-Ball Paul, and I was kind of surprised. So I don't know. They must have something up their sleeve, or at least I hope they do.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing is, if we're just filling in end of the bench slots with other end of the bench slots and trying to fit pays into the salary structure or whatever, and all this is meaningless.
Montrezl Harrell, the other guy, the other of the 3 or 4 centers that they have, and he didn't impress me last year. So, I wouldn't be shocked if he's the odd man out when all is said and done on this. But, we're still waiting on the Harden thing, and there have been more mixed reports in the last couple of days that the Sixers have all the cards right now, because it was Harden who signed the sheet to come back. It was his player option. He says, I'm coming back, but I want to be traded. Well, the Sixers don't have an obligation to trade him. They say they're going to try to do that, but they're not going to take just anybody for James Harden. So the ball is in their court, as we say. And, if Harden is still here come October, November, hopefully he's going to play hard.
Yeah. And that's a big thing. That's exactly what I was going to say. A lot of folks are saying, if he doesn't get his way, he doesn't give that effort. And that's certainly not going to go well here in Philadelphia.
And if he wants to get traded, then he's going to have to put that effort in to show other teams, and maybe teams that he wants to go to, that he is still a guy who's going to play hard and still has the ability as well. So there's a lot on James Harden's shoulders right now. He's got to have the proper attitude and, hopefully be in good shape and be ready to go if he still is a Sixer in September and October, November.
Yep. Well, a lot to be done still before we get that far down the line. But right now, I don't see this team being any better today than it was. Actually, I don't see them being as good today as they were just a month ago.
You're going to miss saying shake, 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 and you're going to miss Kate Scott saying bang, bang, George Niang. I know you are, Bill.
Yeah, right. I think I'll be okay.
All right.
Oh, well, Chet, hey, due to a scheduling conflict with Wheels this evening, we visited with him at 6 o'clock tonight. And as always, we had a great talk on the Phillies, but we had to record that, and let's do it.
Do you think he's on his way right now to the Beyonce concert at the Link?
He could be. He was at the golf course today. He could be seeing Beyonce. He didn't tell us about Beyonce, though. Maybe he's holding that one back.
A lot of people heading there. You and I are not, however. But here's our chat with Wheels, hopefully. Come on, Wheels. Don't let me down. Let's do it. Hey, Chris Wheeler. So great to see you again, first of all. Welcome back to the great Northeast. I know you're playing golf already, having a good old time, but let's talk about our Phillies as they get set to start the second half of the season. Pretty much the same place they were last year, just about the same record, right outside the wild card spot after the All-Star break. What do you make of this team here, 87 or 89 games in, whatever it is?
Well, first of all, it's nice to see you and Chet, you and Bill again. It's always nice to be on the show with you. They're a lot like they were last year, except they don't hit. They hit a lot more last year, and I think that's what perplexes a lot of people. Me too, is that they just don't score the way that they did before. Obviously, one of the reasons is Harper is not Harper right now. Maybe he'll hopefully start hitting more home runs, but they just don't hit a lot of home runs. Their starting pitching got better. Their bullpen got a little bit better. They still don't catch the ball very well. But they have some strong points and they're hanging around. Now the Braves are gone. You can forget about them. There's nothing going to happen with them. But look, when they get in last year with that wild card, the last wild card went to the World Series. So, what's the old saying you guys always use? You got to get in the tournament. So we'll see what happens.
That's right. Well, Wheels, you mentioned not hitting, and that was really on the top of my list to talk to you about. What about the no power? Right. Other than Schwarber, Harper, I guess maybe gets a pass because he's probably just now really should be coming back. But overall, no team power, 18th in the league in home runs, even with Schwarber.
Yeah, well, Castellanos is starting to hit a few home runs, which is nice. Turner, has had a struggle, but Turner can hit home runs, but he's not a home run hitter. Stott's not a home run hitter. Bohm's not a home run hitter. They're guys that can hit home runs. So you're not dealing with a bunch of guys other than Castellanos, Schwarber, and Harper, who are quote unquote, in my opinion, home run hitters. The other guys have power and can hit the ball out of the ballpark. So they're just not a team that's going to hit a lot of home runs. But what bothers me is they don't hit a lot of doubles, and doubles are huge because doubles mean runs so many times. With men on base, you're in scoring position immediately. So to me, to hit the ball in the alley and to hit more doubles which would be a big improvement because, as I said, they don't have a lineup full of home run, quote unquote, home run hitters. Real Muto can hit home runs too, but he's not a home run hitter. Like some lineups have, these guys coming in, like Soto and the guys they have in their lineup, San Diego Padres, they got some home run hitters in that lineup. But I think the Phillies, you look at it, 3 of them are home run hitters, and the other 3, the other group, are guys who can hit home runs.
Well, one guy that drives me crazy, not one of the hitters, is one of the pitchers, Aaron Nola. Last year and this year, sometimes he looks like an ace, looks like an all-star. He did last week in that game against his old buddy Zach Eflin, and then on Sunday, not so good. What's going on with Aaron Nola?
Makes too many fat pitches. Big league hitters, I don't care what team they're on. Big league hitters don't miss fastballs when they're in the middle of the plate or hanging breaking balls and all. They may miss a few, but for the most part, they're going to hurt you when you do that. So I think he goes into games where his command isn't there. He battled. I love him. I know he frustrates people. It's like Castellanos last year would frustrate the heck out of people. Well, you watch Nola, his expression never changes. He goes out there every 5th day. He competes. He tries to pitch deep into games as much as he can. I think the hurry up has hurt him a little bit more than maybe some others. I think it hurt Wheeler a little bit too. But, Aaron Nola was very, very good at controlling the game. And when he would get into an inning where it started to spiral out of control, he would throw over to first base 10 times or step off 5 times. And it would drive people crazy because it was so slow. But it helped him, I think, control the game. I think the clock, even though it's good for the game, and I totally like it, I think he is one of the guys that is probably hurt as much as anybody I've seen.
Well, Wheels, the one that drives me crazy is that Kyle Schwarber. 184, 22 home runs, 49 RBIs, 117 strikeouts, and the leadoff spot is just making me out of my mind.
You like it when it's 1-0 right away.
Yeah, I like bombs. I like to watch bombs, but geez, I don't like to watch strikeouts.
It's tough. I got to admit, I was dead wrong. I may have told you guys or some other shows where I was on. I thought really the no shift rule was really going to help him.
Yeah.
I really thought with more room to fire ball, because he hit so many balls into the shift, ground balls, but he hits his ground balls right at people without the shift right now. Yeah, he strikes out a lot. He doesn't seem to have a real good approach to hitting. He may have gotten caught up in all that Schwarber bomb, or whatever you would call it, stuff that started up last year, because he can hit them as far as anybody. But sometimes you just like a ground ball to the right side or a fly ball to the outfield or just a simple base hit. And I really think that him playing as much as he does is wearing him down. Now, I may be totally wrong about this. He was not brought in here to be an everyday left fielder. He was brought here to be a DH and to quote unquote play left field. And then when Harper went down early in the year, they managed to get through the year, get to the World Series and all. I think it's taking its toll on him in the second year. I think he's out there thundering around too much in that outfield. He looks tired a lot of times. When he didn't run that ball out the other day, it's not because he loafs. I think he's just tired of hitting the ball, back to the pitcher and all those kind of things that happens with him. So I think they need to get him out of the field for a while. And how they do that, I don't know. Is Harper really going to play first base?
We hope.
Yeah. But I don't know, you guys, whether you disagree or not, I think he looks like a tired player who should not be in the outfield, and he's not a good outfielder. He does what he can. It's not his fault. When people get on him about it, I go, hey, it's not his fault. He is what he is.
I heard some crazy stat on, I think it was WIP this morning, and I didn't fact check this, but they said that when he leads off, they are 29 games over 500 last year and this year,
Yep.
whereas games that he has started but not in the leadoff spot, they're 8 games under. So despite his crappy numbers, there must be something to it. I don't know.
Well, I was going to say that, when Bill brought up the point, because it's look, we go back to the prototype, quote unquote, leadoff. Hey,
Yeah.
I used to have to go out and speak all the time and have people hiss and moan at me that Jimmy Rollins didn't walk enough. And I'd say, well, you cut it out. Who cares if he doesn't walk enough? Look what he does. He can lead off a game with a home run. Now, granted, Jimmy was a much better hitter, and a switch hitter helped too.
Yeah.
But he was a much better hitter. But I don't doubt that that's a true stat, that when he leads off, that and look, let's face it, he only leads off once a game.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Wheels, a lot was made last year about Nick Castellanos and moving to a new city and life and all that other stuff being in the way. It was mentioned the other night during the telecast that maybe that's the same Trey Turner issue right now. You've been watching baseball for a long, long time. Is this really a thing? I mean, I think a lot of people thought maybe that was a Castellanos excuse, but now we're seeing it again. Have you seen that over the years?
Sure, it can happen. Look at the shortstops, the free agent shortstops this year. How many of them are struggling? Like Swanson and Bogarts and those kind of guys. First of all, let's deal with Castellanos. I don't think he's an excuse maker. I think he's a very honest guy. I've heard from guys and people I know that are around him in the clubhouse. He's a little different, but he's not a complainer and he's not an excuse maker. And I think he's been brutally honest this year that he struggled last year with the adjustment, with a new baby and all the things coming to the city with this city, with all the expectations that you have here. And with what he had done in the past, and he's better this year. He's still a guy. I think he'd swing at the Rosenbag or check swing if you threw it to him. But that's what he is. I mean, he's a free swinger, but he's making a lot more contact, and he's always been a hitter. Turner, I don't think has it. Turner, there could be an adjustment involved right now, but I watched Turner one series he's lifting his leg, one series he's halfway down, one series he's got his foot down all the way. I just think he's trying to find something right now to get consistent. He's been a little bit better lately. I still think he's the least of the worries of the Phillies because he's so talented. I had heard in spring training that he's an okay shortstop. He's not a great defensive shortstop when you watch him play all the time, and I think that's true. I think he's okay. He can do a lot of things because of his speed with shortstop, and he throws well, but he makes a lot of careless errors too. And look, you guys love baseball the way I do. You give 4 and 5 outs in an inning in the major leagues, you're going to get hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, Wheels, what do you know about the Phillies' first-round draft pick they made this week, Aiden Miller? He's from down in that area, Clearwater, Tampa. He fell to the Phillies at 27, I believe. A lot of people thought he was going to be in the top 15. I think he was rated the 13th best prospect, but he had an injury last year, which I guess knocked him lower. What do you know about Aiden Miller?
First, Chet, I thought you were going to ask me about Justin Crawford. I saw him a lot this year. I got to see, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 Threshers games. I went down ballpark a lot. I know, boy, is he talented.
Yeah.
You remind you guys, well, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but the Dodgers had a guy named Willie Davis.
Oh, yeah.
And when Willie Davis would go from home to third, it looked like it took about 8 strides and he was standing on third base. That's what Justin Crawford reminds you of. This guy can really run. He makes contact. He hit his first home run the other day. He's a pretty good outfielder too, and he throws pretty well. So he's 18 or 19 years old or whatever he is right now. So I think they've done the right thing with him and leaving him down at Clearwater and let him have success and got in the futures game and those kind of things. Now, you didn't ask me about him. You asked about
But thank you.
Well, I just had to tell you about him because it's not like when you say, boy, what do you think of this guy? And I say, I don't know. I haven't seen him. I saw this guy and he's impressive. Now, when he moves up to the next level, will he bottom out a little bit or reach a level? I don't know. But if he isn't a big league player, I'll be surprised. In his body, he has a lot of growing to do in his body. The kid from Newport Richie, I'd had or heard about him and read about him before the draft because he was a local guy. Newport Richie's about 15 miles north of Clearwater. And he can hit. He's just a great hitter. And all the reports are if he hadn't had that hamate bone injury and had the surgery, that he probably would have gone higher in the first round. He was a first rounder no matter what. And I think the Phillies thought they were fortunate to get him in that round. I love drafting offensive players. Charlie used to always say, you know, you hit enough, we'll find a position for you. Well, it's not always true, but more so now with the DH. But it sounds like he's very, very strong in the lower body and can really swing the bat. Maybe he'll start out in Clearwater. Maybe he'll be down there, and we'll find out some more about him real fast. Because even though what was it, Arkansas or wherever he was, where he had the college offer, it sounds like he wants to be a baseball player right away. And his father has one of those hitting performance centers in a place called Oldsmore. That's where the area where Lee Ilya lives now, and where Roy Halladay, Oldsmore, Odessa, where they used to live. So, you know, the kid's a baseball rat.
Well, speaking of offense, let's get back to the current Phillies, Wheels. What's the ceiling for Bryson Stott? This kid can flat out hit. He's still young. I had heard probably 2 years ago, there was a chance, you know, they have visions of him being a batting title kind of guy. You see him being that good?
Well, you guys will remember when the Phillies drafted Stott and Bohm, what did they say the number one tool was with both of them? Hitters. They were offensive players, that they were guys that you thought could swing the bat and do those kind of things. So they're both hitters. Now, look, we talk about home runs. If they go to hit more home runs, they're not going to as many base hits and not make as much contact as they make. So what do you want? You want one or the other. And normally, you know, that type of player isn't the same guy who hits a lot of home runs and also hits for average and puts the ball in play. They're going to do one or the other. Stott, I am always impressed by watching Stott with a two-strike approach that he has. He fouls a lot of balls off. He puts the ball in play a lot. He hits it hard the other way. I just think he's a really, really good, solid hitter who's going to probably have 15 to 20 home run power, especially in our ballpark here in Philadelphia. But the thing about him is the way that he makes pitchers work. And in today's game with the pitch count, and you get a hitter or two in your lineup that makes a pitcher work a lot. Next thing you know, the guy's out of the game because they take him out so fast nowadays. So he's a really good. Could he be a batting champion? Heck yeah. The way he puts it in play and it's hard, and he can run too. Yeah. And we're not even talking about what a good second baseman he is. So, you know, Phillies over the years squandered a lot of number one picks. They didn't with this guy.
Last thing for me, Wheels. The season resumes on Friday for the Phillies, and despite all this time off, I just saw they're going to start Christopher Sanchez Friday night against the Padres. Why wouldn't you go with Wheeler or Taijuan Walker or one of the other guys? I know they've all gotten rest. Why Sanchez?
Well, in my opinion, Wheeler and Nola have a lot of miles on them right now.
Yeah, that's true.
They pitched a lot last year, you know, and I look, they're not excuse makers. We already talked about Aaron, and from what I hear about Zach Wheeler, he's about as stand-up guy as you're ever going to be around. Taijuan Walker, Rangers struggling a little bit with his command, so maybe they want to give him a little more side day stuff. So I think it just worked that way. And I know exactly what you're saying. Why don't you come back with one of your big boys right away to get the thing started? But they made a conscious effort not to pitch Nola at all in the San Diego series and to just give him some time off. And I think they're just giving Wheeler some time off too. Okay. This is just me. I don't know that. And just and Sanchez has been okay. You know, he's a heck of a lot better than the other left-hander, and he drove you crazy.
Yeah, there's a doubleheader Saturday, right?
Doubleheader. You know, it's weird. It's a split doubleheader scheduled. Yeah. That used to be would be a makeup, you know, a rain out, and then you would do the split because you wanted the two gates. So why they're doing that, I'm out of the loop, guys. So I don't know. I don't know anymore. I could call Dave Buck and ask him, but he'd say to me, "Why do you care about that?" And I'd say, because I might be on a show. I might need it.
That's right. Somebody might ask you that question. Right. Well, Wheels, I have one final question for you. Today, new odds came out after the All-Star break. The Phillies are the number 3 odds in the National League of winning the World Series behind the Braves and the Dodgers. What does Vegas know that we don't know?
I don't know. That's very interesting because, look, there's a lot of problems there, but it's also a very good baseball team. You know, this is a good team. This is a team that has a heck of a chance to get in the quote-unquote tournament again because of the wild card and the extra wild card. And look what they did with it last year. But they have to start to score more runs. They don't, in my opinion, they're not a good enough defensive team to not score more runs, because when they get in too many close games, they make too many mistakes. And that really starts to catch up to you down the stretch. For whatever it is, and we used to talk about it all the time, I don't know, but there's a lot of one-run games played in September every year. And this team is not really well equipped, I don't think, to play one-run games. The bullpen is better, but they give up too many extra outs.
Hey, Wills, one final question, a different subject. Penn State football getting ready to kick off. Can't let you go without talking about the Nittany Lions. You pretty excited about good recruiting? A lot of good things happening in Happy Valley right now.
It'd be pretty hard not to like those running backs. Those two kids came on last year, were unbelievable, and they're only sophomores, true sophomores this year.
Yep.
They think they have a big-time quarterback, and their offensive line has gotten a lot better, but everybody looks at them and talks about their defense. They think they have a very good defense this year. And Manny Diaz is a heck of a defensive coach. So still got to beat Ohio State and Michigan.
Right.
I can't wait for the realignment. You may have to play them every year.
Yeah,
Wheels,
but
we gotta
you
wrap
get
it up
USD
there,
in their place, though.
Well, yeah, you got that. That'll be okay. That'll be okay. But there's something about Ohio State. They're better than USC every year.
Yeah.
Chris, we got to wrap it up. Great seeing you. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Go Phils.
Thanks, Chet. Thanks, Bill. And I'm so happy that I could make this Zoom call work.
We did it.
I'm feeling very accomplished tonight.
There you go. And happy upcoming birthday too, Wheels.
Thanks, guys.
As always, Chet, great stuff from Wheels. He's money.
Yeah, that was fun.
14 times. Glad to have him for sure.
14th visit to our show. He must like us.
Absolutely. Hey, something that's come out today. We didn't get a chance to mention this too, Wheels. The Cardinals have decided, it sounds like, Chet, that they're going to be sellers. And Goldschmidt, Arenado could be on the block, both of them. If you're the Phillies, Mr. GM hat, you're making a move. If, say, it costs you Alec Boehm, Brandon Marsh, and a minor leaguer for one of those.
Nah, it's too much. I wouldn't do it. I mean, Goldschmidt's still good, but he's 34. I wouldn't give up that much for him. I know he's got another year on his contract, which is a good thing, but I wouldn't do it. I know a lot of people speculate that, but one thing you got to consider is, what is the deal with Bryce Harper? Is he going to be ready to play first base or not? That's going to be a major consideration in whatever the Phillies do between now and August 1st. Yeah,
well, and I think Will's made a great point that I certainly didn't think about with Kyle Schwarber. Is he a tired player? One thing I think we've learned, at times he certainly looks it. One thing we have learned from Nick Castellanos is, now that he has become an everyday right fielder, the word is that he has absolutely worked his tail off from the end of last year to today to be a better right fielder. I'm not sure we're seeing that from Schwarber. I don't want to say, don't know, but you got to get better at your craft.
Yeah, Schwarber has certainly not gotten better in the field. We know that. And maybe there is something bothering him, which is why he's not moving quite as well. But as Wheels mentioned, we thought he would have a higher average this year with the outline of the shift. We thought he would see, he'd be getting more singles, hits to right field, and it's not happening. He's hitting 184 or whatever still. So, yeah, there's something going on there.
Yeah, well, and the other thing too, again, we just didn't have enough time with Wheels. We could talk to him for 2 hours. We still see Schwarber in the lineup against left-handers, where he just looks like he's flailing at a lot of balls. And we don't see enough, in my opinion, Bryson Stott against left-handers. Let the kid hit left-handers. He can flat out hit. Let him hit.
We're seeing him occasionally. So that's a good sign.
Yep.
Hey, we'll talk more about the All-Star break, but let's take a little break first and do some ads.
Yeah, let's do it. We got to pay the bills. Summer's here. Gas prices are going up. Time for you to save some money with Allstate's pay-as-you-go auto insurance.
That is correct, Bill. Allstate's pay-as-you-go auto insurance puts you in control. You only pay for the miles you drive. With the same full coverage that a traditional policy offers, pay-per-mile insurance gives customers greater control of their insurance costs. See how much you can save with pay-per-mile car insurance by calling your local agent. In Westchester, Pennsylvania, that is Dave Lavoie. And by the way, in addition to auto insurance, Dave's Allstate office also offers home and renter's insurance, life insurance, business insurance, and more. Allstate in Westchester. Call Dave Lavoie, 610-430-0700. Again, 610-430-0700.
Well, hey, while you're out and about, Chet, tell us what's going on over at the Irish Rover Station House this week as well.
Business as usual at the Irish Rover in Langhorne. That is a good thing. Lots of good things over there. They always have tasty Thursday through Sunday dinner specials. And then Thursdays also mean killer burgers are available. Man, I love a good burger. And the Rover's burgers are delicious. Of course, there are always 24 beers on tap and a great bunch of beer tenders and wait staff at the Irish Rover all the time. And let me see if I can find this other picture from the Irish Rover. Yeah, I can. They have Quizzo every Wednesday at the Rover. And remember that on the patio yoga event that I told you about last week, it was supposed to happen on Sunday, but remember the weather was not great on Sunday. Well, due to that, it was postponed. The event postponed until Sunday, the 23rd. The Irish Rovers yoga on the patio and little drinking involved as well. Sunday, the 23rd for that. Now, the Irish Rover is on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne. You can get more details on their website. That, of course, irishroverstationhouse.com. Ray Diddy, we need you. Where are you, Ray?
Hi, this is
Come on.
Hi, this is Ray Dinger, and it is always fun to talk sports with these two guys, Bill and Chet, on Philly Pressbox Radio.
And it's always fun to talk to Ray Diddy, which is a perfect lead-in, Chet, to talk some Eagles. We had a lot of fun last week letting you pick your top 10 wide receivers in Eagles history and comparing them to the list developed by NBC Sports Philadelphia's Eagles insider Ruben Franks, who does a fantastic job. So we're going to do it again, Chet. This week, it's the top 10 all-time Eagles defensive players. Rube gave his list of 10. He had 6 honorable mentions. So we're going to get to that. But, hey, I wanted to ask you, before we get to that, what is up with all this San Francisco 49ers players, fans, media? The Eagles are living rent-free in the heads out there in San Francisco. Deebo Samuel hangs up on a reporter when asked an Eagles question. The media out there follows it up with Philadelphia fans are garbage. What's up?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wasn't able to download that interview, but I can play the audio from it right now. So this is what you were talking about, Bill.
See, this is the problem with Philadelphia. This goes back to my original problem. Oh, our fans, we're tougher than anyone. No, you're lower life scumbags more than anyone, and I'm sick of it. We've perpetuated this. It's okay to be a dirty, crappy fan in Philadelphia because that's what Philly fans do. That I'm so sick of it. If Niner fans did this, okay, you know what they would file it under? Thugs. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
You know why? Because our fan base looks a little different than the Philadelphia fan base. Yeah. Believe me, I've been to both stadiums. All right? I'm so sick of this. We do this thing with Philadelphia fans. You don't know what's coming for you. What? A bunch of low-life scumbags cussing and swearing and throwing things at people?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sick of it. And you know what? Good for Deebo for hanging up on him. Screw Philadelphia.
Well, what was that all about, Bill?
I don't know. Somebody's in somebody's head. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what. I know what it does mean. It means that the December 3rd Niners-Eagles game at the Link is all of a sudden a whole lot more intriguing than it already was. Two pretty good teams going at it late in the season. And, now with all this stuff in the Niners fans and players' heads, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and hey, a shout out. I got to give a shout out on this, Chet. I don't know if you saw this. Delco Steaks, from beautiful Delco.
I saw that, yeah.
Breaking news. So pricing changes we're making for the first weekend of December. If you're a crybaby 49ers fan in town to watch your team lose, a cheesesteak will be moving from our normal $10 to $31.07 for those 49ers fans. Please mark your calendars accordingly. Last year, Eagles 31, 49ers 7.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. That is pretty darn good.
Yeah, but I don't get it. I mean, do they not realize, do 49er fans and media not realize that they couldn't block? That's why their quarterbacks got hurt. Not because of any other reason, Philly fans, anything else. They got beat because they played their third or nobody quarterback because they couldn't block.
Yeah, that was definitely a problem for them. And now they're bitching and moaning every chance they get about it. So, man, and they still don't know who their quarterback's going to be opening day. So,
Right, right. I mean, and a lot of people were picking them to be really, really good, and they're going to do this and that. They don't have a quarterback, and they still can't block. What'd they do to get better there?
yeah, not a thing. So shut up, San Francisco.
Hey, I got to throw this up there for Ambrose, a San Fran softie. There you go. And even a better one coming from Janet. No one likes us. We don't care. Amen to you, Janet.
Yep.
Hey, one other Eagles thing before we have to get to our list. Just came out today that two former Eagles, Al Ox Wistard and Maxie Baughan, have made it to the semifinal round, I guess it is, of the Senior Hall of Fame committee. That would be really good if those guys get in. You know, I've talked about Maxie Baughan for years and years, and now all of a sudden he shows up in the senior committee. One tidbit about Maxie, obviously I'm not old enough to have seen Al Worcester in the 40s and 50s, but Maxie Baughan played 9 years in the league, made 9 Pro Bowls.
That's
what
pretty
more
impressive.
is there? What more is there to say about that?
Yeah, not much more you can say about that. The guy was good, obviously. He's already in the Eagles Hall of Fame, so it would be nice to see him honored in Canton.
That's right. Okay, more to come on that. All right, let's get to our list. This suspense is killing me to see if you're even close. Last week you took a list of 10 and it ended up being about 18. So let's get it going. Who you got? What direction you want to go?
All right. Well, what I did, Bill, was I just wrote down the first dozen or so names that came to mind when I thought about great Eagles defensive players. You know, Reggie, Jerome, Seth, B-Doc, Concrete Charlie, Bill Berge, and the like. And then I looked at the internet for some other guys that I may have overlooked, especially some of the old timers like Maxie Baughan, Al Wistard. Then, of course, the real tough part, putting them in order. So how about if I give you the lowest to highest, maybe start off with my 6 honorable mentions?
All right, and let me tell you one thing. In the top 10, in Rube's top 10, there is one player from the 60s. There's one player from the 50s, and the rest are more modern day players, including one current player in the top 10.
Oh, interesting. I think I know who that would be. Maybe I don't. It could be one of two. So anyway, guys that I did not end up putting on my list included some pretty good names like Wes Hopkins, Bobby Taylor, Herm Edwards, Malcolm Jenkins. Sorry, guys. My honorable mention, Bill, a 6-pack. I like a 6-pack in no particular order. Fletcher Cox. He's not in my top 10. Troy Vincent, Hugh Douglas, Jeremiah Trotter. Sorry, Trots. Our pal Bill Bradley. Not in my top 10, but honorable mention. And yes, Brandon Graham. So I will not have any current players in there. And
okay,
as for
so,
my top,
so hang on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what his honorable mentions were.
Okay.
Clyde Simmons,
Mm-hmm.
Willie T, Trent Cole,
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm Jenkins, Jerome Brown, and Bill Bradley.
Okay. So we had some crossover there.
Yep. We got we got Bradley, and that was it.
Nah, there was another one, but I forget. Bradley and
did you say?
No, that's it. You're right.
Yeah,
Brandon Graham, did you say?
Nope, I didn't say Brandon Graham.
Huh. Okay. Malcolm Jenkins, but I cut him. So all right, never mind. All right, my top 10, Bill. You ready?
Yep.
In reverse order. Number 10, the aforementioned Maxie Baughan. Number 9, Jerome Brown. You know what, Bill? I'm going to make this easy for you. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Number 8, the underrated Trent Cole. Number 7, Clyde Simmons. Number 6, Eric Allen should be in the Hall of Fame. Number 5, Bill Berge, your favorite. Number 4, Seth Joyner, one of my favorites. Number 3, B-Doc. Number 2, of course, Reggie White. And number 1, Chuck Bednarik, who played both ways, but we know him, I guess, as a linebacker or whatever the hell he played back on those late, great Eagles teams of the 50s and 1960s. So there you go. That's my top 10. And you see my honorable mention guys already.
All right. So here is Rube's top 10, starting with number 10. Jeremiah Trotter at number 10. Number 9, Troy Vincent. Number 8, Maxie Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, Bill Berge.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, Seth Joyner. Number 5, that Fletcher Cox.
Wow, that's higher than I certainly
That's
had him.
really high. Number 4, Eric Allen.
Yep.
Number 3, Reggie White.
Oh, ahead or behind B-Doc.
Number 2, Brian Dawkins. And number 1, Chuck Bednarik.
Okay, so somewhat close. Chuck number 1, Reggie and B-Doc switched at 2 and 3.
So put your list back up there.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you had 1, 2, and 3 correct, except you had the right guys, different order.
Yep.
Seth Joyner, he had it 6, you had it 4. Berge, you had it 5, he had it 7. Eric Allen, you had it 6, he had it 4. Clyde Simmons, you had it 7, he had honorable mention. Same with Trent Cole at 8. Jerome Brown, the same. And then Maxie Bond, you had it 10, he had at 8.
Hey,
So
all
he
in
had
all, I think I did pretty well compared to Rube.
Yeah, you did. Troy Vincent and Jeremiah Trotter were really the ones you did not, and Cox, that you did not have that he had.
I had them in honorable mention. But you know what? If you look at this list, you'll note that 5 of my top 10 guys played together, part of that amazing gangrene defense from the late 1980s and early 90s. Reggie and B-Doc are in the Hall of Fame, and Seth Joyner and Eric Allen should be in the Hall, Bill.
Yep. Well, certainly Eric Allen.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
And Seth Joyner.
certainly Eric Allen.
Shut up.
Hey, but I'll give you credit. Good job better job this time. You were pretty much on it. Now, he has done a couple more. He did quarterbacks. He did running backs.
I didn't look at him.
He has also done one that it might just be too hard. I didn't even read the article yet, but it's on assistant coaches. Like, what coaches?
I saw that headline today. I had no interest in looking at it.
Yeah, I'm thinking, other than the big name guys,
Yeah.
I'm really not sure most of us even know who a lot of the coaches are.
Yeah, I mean, we know
They're just
Jim
the guys.
Johnson's going to be high on it.
Bud Carson would be there. Certainly. So,
Yeah.
and Jeff Stoutland, certainly.
Oh, Stoutland's got to be in the top 3. Yeah.
Right. So I'll come up with another one for next week. We'll test you again and see. You definitely passed this one.
Let's pay some more bills and then talk a little All-Star Game baseball.
All right. Let's give a shout out to all the shows at the Edge of Philly Sports Network. The gang has all the bases covered as you catch all the action. www.eopsports.com, as well as Edge of Philly Sports on YouTube. You can also find our show on Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel. Help us out. Hit those subscribe, follow, and like buttons. And as always, share with your family and friends. As you can see, every night there is something going on with the Edge of Philly Sports.
Shortly after our show concludes tonight, we have the guys from Edge of Philly Sports. They're live at 8:30. And they bring it every week. So be sure to check out the guys from EOP. It's often Big Al. It's often Joey. Occasionally it's Fred. Sometimes they have guests, but they always do a great job. Usually Wednesdays at 8:30, Edge of Philly Sports live.
Check it out. Good stuff. Hey, Chet, while we're talking about that, what's going on with Bob Cavanaugh and the gang at Cavs Philly Tailgates?
Man, I'm hungry, and now we got to talk about food again. Bob Cavanaugh at Cavs Philly Tailgates has been cooking up a terrific catering business for more than 30 years now, known best for their tailgate parties. Cavs is a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates Jack Daniel's Great American Tailgate Party contest, and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs' next Phillies tailgate is scheduled for Saturday, August 5th. That is before the Phils-Royals game at the ballpark, and they will have a great menu for that one, as they always do. Great food, all sorts of beverages, a terrific variety, and Cavs does corporate events and parties, you name it. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go. If you need more info, email them at Cavs Philly Tailgates. Nope, Cavs Catering at Verizon.net. Again, Cavs Catering at Verizon.net, or check the website, phillytailgates.com. And, Cav also works with Vince and Company at Philly Sports Trips. And if you are a Philly sports trip fan, you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. Check the website, phillysportstrips.com. And upcoming they've got a trip out to San Diego. And that is going to be a whole lot of fun because, man, let me see what they have going on. It is a weekend and then into the following week, right around Labor Day. You'll have plenty of time on the weekend to explore the city before the first game on Monday afternoon. There are all sorts of travel packages for that one. And they will be staying at the Margaritaville Hotel San Diego Gas Lamp in downtown San Diego, near all the action. An all-inclusive tailgate party on Tuesday, lower-level group tickets to 2 Phillies-Padres games, of course. Phillies sports trips, also booking trips to all Eagles road games. Get all the details at phillysportstrips.com. And of course, now that I finished reading all that, I find what I wanted to put up, the ultimate San Diego trip logo. It is September 2nd through the 6th. Again, phillysportstrips.com for all the details.
I'll tell you what, you're going to have to fire the producer of this show.
It's tough to multitask. I got to try to read and I got to try to find a JPEG to put up on the screen. I am not that talented, Bill.
I hear you. Well, hey, Chet, I'm going to throw a new little segment at you tonight.
No, you're not. We're talking All-Star game before we do that.
We ain't got time for that. Because it's going to tie into the All-Star game, as it turns out. When I actually wrote this to say I wanted to do this, it was why I was sitting watching the All-Star game.
Okay.
As it turned out, what this segment is going to be is something very simple, Chet. It's about Philly sports or anything you want it to be. And I want you to tell me something good. So my good was going to be, even before last night, was Craig Kimbrell. Craig Kimbrell was my something good. He turned into being, they signed him kind of on a flyer. Didn't know what he was going to do. They didn't have him as the closer. He turns out he is now perfect as a closer. He makes the All-Star team. That was going to be the end of it. Well, now he ends up getting the save in the All-Star game for the National League to win for the first time in 11 years. So tell me something good, Craig Kimbrell.
What do you want me to tell you? I don't get it.
I want you to tell me something good, completely different, off the top of your head. Philly sports. Tell me something good. Figure it out. You're smart.
Okay, Nick Castellanos, who most people wanted to run out of town last year, is all of a sudden an all-star and hitting over 300. He's picking up the pace with home runs. So Nick Castellanos will get a way to go, Nick, from me. There he is in the All-Star game in those uniforms, which we can talk about at some point soon.
All right, let's talk about it.
Okay, I didn't like the uniforms. Most people, I heard from our pal Jane that Ray Diddy this morning on the radio did not like the uniforms. Look at that. It's like blue and charcoal gray. Do they even match? I don't know. Why can't we go back to the good old days, Bill, where you would wear your team's uniform, either white if you're the home team or, in the Phillies case, blue or red road uniforms, and everybody wears the uniform jersey representing their team. Why can't we do that again?
We should do that again.
Thank you.
Those uniforms were pathetic. And for the casual fan, I guess you could see it kind of on Castellanos' pant leg there in that picture. There is a P, and there's a P up on his sleeve, but otherwise, the casual fan has no idea who this guy is or what team he plays for.
Exactly, and I don't like it. It was a pretty good game, though. It hooked me in. I wasn't planning to focus on it too much. I was preparing for our show, but I did find myself watching more of it, and I did like it. As far as the game, I liked miking up the players, although I think the pitchers were a little distracted when they had the pitchers mic while they were on the mound. I don't know if that was a great idea.
Well, I didn't think it was a great idea either, but I thought it was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool, yeah.
Where I don't remember which one it was. He says, "Man, I want to bust him in on his hands."
Yeah,
yeah.
So
hopefully the catcher thinks the same thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
And Freddie Freeman, Dickey's fans. Freddie Freeman talking to one of his other Braves teammates on the All-Star team. That was cool also. So I did like that. I liked what the announcers did. It was a game. The players played hard. Clearly the best, I think, of the 4 All-Star games. The Pro Bowl doesn't even happen anymore now, I guess. But at least these guys play like they wanted to win an actual game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you the other thing that I was not really too cool with, the whole red carpet thing from the outfield. Stop.
Yeah, I
Stop
wasn't
it.
really focusing on that, but I know a lot of people did complain about that. So I get it.
I mean, I the idea, they had them running through the kids and had a whole red carpet thing and all that. I get that part, trying to get the kids involved,
Yeah.
but just a little bit too much for me. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. It was the game was pretty good though.
Yeah, it was. I know it's not like when we watched in the 70s because, we were younger. We were more focused on seeing all the greats, Hank Aaron and Willie Mays later in their career, Bob Gibson still, Steve Carlton, Mike Schmidt. There were so many players that we knew. And now, yeah, to be honest, I don't pay as much attention to teams in other cities and players in other cities beyond, the Otanis and Freddie Freeman still and a couple of those guys. So it doesn't have the same interest for me that it used to, but I like I said, I think they did a pretty good job last night and I enjoyed it more than I expected.
Yeah. And nice contributions from Castellanos and Kimbrel, as we said.
Yeah.
Castellanos had a hit. He also had a walk and scored the.
I don't know if he had a hit. I think he had a walk and he struck out.
I believe he was 1 for 2.
I had him 0 for 1 in my mind.
He got a hit in the 9th inning.
Oh, he did it 1 in the 9th inning.
Yes.
Oh.
So he was 1 for 2 with a walk, and in the walk is when he scored in front of the home run.
Right.
So yeah,
Gotcha.
1 for 2 and a save for Kimbrel.
Yeah. Little shaky. The first batter hits one to the warning track and he walks a couple, but hey, he got the save and NL got the win for the first time in ages.
That's right. Now, I'm a little behind on this. Does that still have to do with home field now?
No.
Is that, they got rid of that garbage?
They stopped that a few years ago.
Okay, good. All right. Hey, anything else on the All-Star game? Are you ready to talk about who's coming to Philly Press Box next week?
I'm going to tell you who's coming next week, Bill. And this was just confirmed a couple of hours ago. We are going to talk the entire Philly sports scene with a second-time visitor. Although last year when he was on, you couldn't make it because you were having some weather issues down in Florida. It is Jody Mack. Jody Mack back on our show. And hopefully he will be live and you will be live and we can all talk together about the Phillies and the Sixers and the Philly sports scene. And it's going to be fun because Jody Mack is awesome.
I will be live if I'm alive.
There you go. Live at 7 next Wednesday with you, me, and the Mac Man.
Oh, that'd be good. And a great guest tonight in Chris Wheeler, too. Got to say that. Wheels, always good and always glad to have him with us.
Bill, what's going on at the Raz Room these days?
The Raz Room. Well, they post great sports memorabilia on their Facebook page so people can take a chance of winning something they may not be able to afford or have access to. All items come with certificates of authenticity. They continue to run out great autographed memorabilia from all the Philly teams and more. Check out their Facebook page, like it or follow it. It's PPCC 118 Raz Room. That's right, PPCC 118 Raz Room on Facebook.
And hey, Bill, I want to tell you something. There are lots of concerts coming up this summer and fall, including recently announced tours by the Eagles and Cheap Trick, among others. And Sherry's Ticket Town is the place to go for your tickets. Sherry'sTickets.com. No hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10. Don't pay hidden fees. Save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game or concert? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call. Yeah, you can actually talk to a human, 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets, again, that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, don't overpay. Go with the best, Sherry'sTickets.com, and save 10% using the promo code EOP10. There you go.
There you go. Speaking of concerts, you have any on your list? Any of the biggies? I saw today where Taylor Swift tickets went on sale somewhere again and blew up Ticketmaster, and that's
snafu.
Another snafu. And as you mentioned, we have Beyonce tonight, right?
She's tonight at the Link. I am not there, obviously. Not a huge fan of Beyonce, talented woman, but just not my thing. Taylor Swift, I wouldn't mind seeing. That'd be fun. I got so many coming up later this summer and fall. Bruce Springsteen and Pink and Billy Joel with Stevie Nicks. In the Pocket, David Wasikkinen's thing. A few others that I'm forgetting, like the MM Barbecue. So plenty of concerts coming up for me this fall.
Very good. Where are you seeing Springsteen?
It's either the Link or Citizens Bank Park, August 18th. I think it's the Link, but don't quote me on that. It's one of the stadiums.
I didn't know he was coming back to Philly. I guess
2 nights, August 16th and 18th. Yes.
very nice. All right. What else you got? Anything?
Well, Bill, another tough week for sports media. ESPN layoffs. There were 20 or so of them last week. Susie Colbert, Chris Chelios, Jalen Rose, Keyshawn Johnson, Steve Young, Jeff Van Gundy, Max Kellerman. Man, I feel bad for those guys, but ESPN is not what it used to be. We all say that, but still, these guys are humans, and they've been working hard. It's certainly nothing they've done. It's just cutbacks, and just the way it is. New York Times got rid of its sports desk the other day. They're going to rely on The Athletic, which is actually owned by the New York Times parent company anyway. So they're going to rely on The Athletic for local sports coverage. 97.5, The Fanatic the other day laid off Hunter Brody from the afternoon show, plus an assistant program director. So cutbacks everywhere, Bill, and I'm going to keep you around, and we're keeping this show alive. So we're safe.
Wow. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're talking about that sort of thing, did you see, and we have 1 minute to talk about this, did you see the gaffe from the Flyers media relations that didn't go very well?
I did. Somebody who didn't know that their off-camera mic was on saying, how many freaking times is she going to ask that question or whatever? Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Something along those lines. Yeah.
Yes.
So that did not go well for that person who said that. And the Flyers apologized. And did they fire that person?
I'm thinking somebody probably did. And I think there was actually a little follow-up to that as well from a second person that was on the mic as well. But, I read an interesting article today, Chad, a little piece. I want to say it was on Crossing Broad, but don't hold me to that. But they said the young lady who is now the beat writer for the Inquirer is about 22 or 23 years old, doesn't know anything about hockey, was offered a job and took it like we all would. Can't blame her for that. But basically the Inquirer let go of Sam Carchidi, let go of Sam Donnellan, and they've handed this over to someone, a younger person who one had no experience in the Philadelphia media, doesn't know the game of hockey, and probably just asked the simplest question because that was the simplest question they could come up with. And it doesn't matter that it's a female or male. Makes no bit of difference. They put the old saying, they put someone in a position to fail instead of be successful. And now, maybe she didn't fail, but a couple people with the Flyers did. They're going to be unemployed if they're not already. Bad decisions all over the place.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, well, I don't know what else to add to that, but oh, well, go Flyers. Hey, I had breakfast the other day with Judy Arnold. So great to see Judy. I believe she's heading back to the left coast in a few days. So she spent a great month in the area, spoke at, I think, 4 different churches. Sold a whole bunch of books. We helped her sell a few, I'm pretty sure. So great seeing you, Judy. And if you want to get Judy's book, check her website, judyarnoldskater.com or Judy Arnold's Facebook page, and get her book. It's well worth the read.
You need to send me that flag picture. Did you notice there was a flag in that picture?
I did think about that when I posted that. Yeah, Judy Arnold, me, and a flag. How about that, Bill?
There you go. That would be a good one to add to the group.
Yep.
All right. Anything else before we wrap it up?
Nothing else. No, we're good. A lot of movies coming out in the next week and a half, Bill. We got Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 1. It's getting rave reviews. Tom Cruise still has it. Next week, then we have Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie, Bill. A lot of people making it a double feature. They're going to see Barbie and Oppenheimer, 2 very different movies on the same day. And I would if I had time, but I got a lot going on these next 2
I don't know who a lot of people are, but
I do.
I hope I don't know any of them.
I know a lot
Let's
of people.
wrap this thing up.
Wrap it up, Bill.
Let's thank tonight's special guest, Chris Wheeler, our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgates, PPCC, 118 Raz Room, and Dave Lavoie of Allstate Insurance in Westchester, PA. For Jim Chet Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll join Philly Pressbox Radio next Wednesday, July 19th, at 7 p.m. You can see us live on Facebook, listen to our website, phillypressboxradio.com, on Google Podcasts, as well as Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans, and let's go Phillies.
And for those who asked, yes, I am seeing Barbie. I saw the comments.
Happy trails to you, till we meet